Podcast, episode number 1163. When it comes to philanthropy, there are many causes to which people devote themselves, and there are numerous organizations committed to impact each cause. 100 Companies Who Care is all about supporting and empowering these organizations and helping them to make a true difference. I'm excited to have Tyler Mounce here, who's involved with 100 Companies Who Care. Tyler, welcome to Critical Mass Radio Show.
Thanks for having me.
Look at that radio voice. You should do a show here on on octalkradio.net with that deep voice of yours.
The deep, raspy voice.
Okay, ladies.
And a face for radio as well.
No, you're on the camera there.
Oh, yeah, I guess this is video.
Check us out on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. So before we talk about the organization, 100 Companies Who Care, let's talk about you. Do you have an interesting story, something you can share with us, kind of as a background to set up this interview?
Yeah, in terms of my experience with philanthropy or charitable work or whatever you want, I sometimes saying a philanthropist is, I feel like, overstating things a little bit. But
okay.
I've just been around, through church ministry growing up. I've just been around nonprofit organizations and charitable and service work for a long time. And there is this literally billion-dollar question of how do we get a lot of people to give a little?
Okay.
So many nonprofits are being funded by major donors, large corporations. When we have these expensive galas that we throw to try and raise money, when if we could get everybody, there's a few million people in Orange County. If everyone gave
3 million, yeah,
$10 a month, right? There would be no fundraising gala ever again,
right?
Unless we just wanted to hang out,
right, and have some fun.
I remember when I was in college, I think it was my freshman year, and I found out about something called the Mocha Club. The Mocha Club was this organization that I don't even, honestly, I couldn't tell you what they even do. I think it was school supplies for kids in Africa.
Okay.
But the idea being that if you gave up 2 mochas a month, right, the equivalent of it was a $7 commitment, but the idea that you're giving up 2 mochas a month and you're going to give a kid school supplies for the year by doing that.
Wow. And
so I was really struck by that, and I thought, $7 even as a freshman in college, I could probably do that.
Right.
I was working at a catering company at the time. So fast forward, my dad now runs a nonprofit, which is a huge online educational resource. It's 100% free. Uh-huh. People all over the world use this, and he has. And I remember he was telling me, I was like, Dad, tell me a little bit more about how you guys operate. He says, well, we've got a little over 100,000 individual users a month.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, and you're giving all this away for free, and you can't get them to chip in a couple bucks, and so if he had 10% of his users give $3 a month,
right,
he would essentially cover all his operating costs for his organization.
Yes.
And so this idea of getting a lot of people to give a little is sort of the backdrop, and essentially, not that I think I can answer that and solve that problem on my own, but the 100 Companies concept is really kind of my attempt at least making a step in the right direction with regards to solving that problem.
So are you the founder of it?
So there's something called the 100 Who Care Alliance, which is a national organization.
Okay.
And they focus primarily on individual groups, but I'm the founder of 100, along with another person who's helping me. His name's Will Tober. He's a good friend who's done a lot in the nonprofit space.
Okay.
And he's helping me with it. So we're one of 2 organizations in the U.S. that are focused on primarily business owners.
Okay.
So the 100 Companies Who Care is technically under the umbrella of the 100 Who Care Alliance, but we're sort of the first chapter doing this.
And what's the significance of the 100 companies? Is it really a goal to have 100 companies?
It is a goal to have 100 companies.
100 companies?
Yeah, so we're building right now. We're just over 20. We've had a few events so far, but just so for people listening, the basic idea is you get 100 business owners to commit to giving $1,000 a quarter.
Okay.
And then every quarter we have an event, and at that event you hear a presentation from 3 local nonprofits. And they essentially pitch the group, think like Shark Tank style.
Right. Yeah,
so there's 3, we've got 3 great organizations for our next event, and they're going to pitch this group.
Okay.
And then the members of the group vote on who they want to pledge their support to, and then there's a small grant given to the other 2, but the winning charity gets the large portion of the grant.
Okay.
So the idea being once we're at, of course we would never cap it, if we have 200 companies, that's great. But
why
eventually
not?
we want to get to 100, so we're granting $100,000 a quarter every event.
Okay, that's an interesting way of marrying entrepreneurship with nonprofit, and there are so many worthy nonprofits just here in Orange County alone.
Oh yeah, I mean there's and that's part of the problem too, is that you mentioned in the intros, you don't want to tackle homelessness. Well, there's 7 organizations I could name off the top of my head that are all tackling homelessness. Sometimes they're adjacent, sometimes they're almost competing in a weird way.
Right.
And so this is a cool way for it's all member driven. So the members of the group that are the actual business owners, they get to nominate the charities.
Oh, is that how you pick the?
Yeah, that's how we pick them. And then so I'm merely just a facilitator. I'm actually not a member of the group.
Okay.
Because I don't own my own business.
Okay.
And so, but yeah, if you're, the idea being that if you're a CEO, you have a particular cause that you're interested in, or you have an organization that you've supported in the past, you can nominate them. And then it's a exercise in collectively vetting these organizations as a group of, you're into, peer learning and peer things. So it's peer philanthropy, really.
Yes.
So you get to help pick the charities, you get to help narrow down who gets the money, and then the idea being, I trust business owners to make wise financial decisions about where the investment is going to be best made.
Right.
And so the idea being that the charities that win will be really good organizations that are going to use the money effectively.
So we have Tyler Mounce here in the studio, and we're talking about can I call it his organization?
Sure.
An organization he's involved in?
Yeah, it's at this point it is.
Okay,
I'm kind of,
you're the energy
I'm
behind
spearheading it right now.
100 companies who care. And what I've seen in the Orange County, as I think it's true of most markets, and there are really large nonprofits, national organizations, international organizations. Then there's a swath of regional, and then there's a whole bunch of really small nonprofits, all working on these causes. Is there an area of that you're focused on, or
no? It's pretty pretty laissez-faire, in terms of the idea being that because it's all member driven, so the members nominate, the members vote. So realistically, there's no regulations in that. I can tell you one thing, that there is obviously the propensity to want to grant, $180,000 grant to a very small local nonprofit is obviously going to be pretty impactful.
Right.
Whereas, like the American Heart Association, it may not make as much of a difference. So there's a little bit of a natural selection in terms of that. But no, really it can be whatever, because big organizations are usually big for a reason. They have significant impact. They have far reach, or financial resources, and so it's really self-governing.
Okay. And can you take me through the pitch day?
Yeah. So we actually have one on Thursday this week.
Right.
Yeah, so in a couple of days. So what'll happen is people get in there, they check in. Anyone we do invite some guests who are interested in coming to check it out. So obviously I'll share my contact information for people who want to check it out.
Yeah, why not?
But what happens is everyone gets in. If you're I'll say registered member, for lack of a better term, meaning you've made a financial commitment. You've contributed, because we have a donor advised fund that hosts all of the donations.
Okay.
So I'll make a contribution for the year, and then that money will get granted out over the course of 4 quarters. It's $4,300 because there's fees for the fund and things like that.
Okay.
I don't take a cut. And then what happens is you get a name badge, and the name badge has who you are, which company you're representing, and then that's also your voting ticket. So you come in, you would get your name badge, you would actually give the nominations for any charities that you'd like to nominate, you get one charity per quarter.
Okay.
You nominate for next quarter.
Right.
So that goes into the bowl for consideration. And then, we serve breakfast, we kick things off with a little bit of an introduction for the guests that haven't, we'll talk a little bit about what 100 Companies Who Care is for people who are new.
Right.
And then we'll launch into the presentations. So every charity, the first charity goes, we just random draw who gets to go first.
Oh, man.
And then
how long do they have?
They have 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah, 5-minute pitch with 2 minutes of Q&A.
Okay.
So I give them a warning at 5 minutes. We cut them off at 6.
Okay.
And then 2 minutes to Q&A. And then next presentation, 5 minutes, 2 minutes of Q&A. We roll through the presentations like that pretty quick.
Right.
And then at the end of that, everyone takes the name badge and they do the voting. So then put in their vote for who they'll have seen.
One of the three.
They'll write down one of the three. And then while we're collecting the votes, we actually have the winner from last quarter come, and they share what we call the Impact Award.
That's a great idea.
So a little bit of like, hey, here's, we got this money from 100 companies who care. Here's where it went. Here's what we've done in the meantime. Here's what we're working on. So it's kind of a cool way to reconnect with one of the causes or the organizations that we've funded in the past.
Right.
And then once you do that, then we announce the winner. Everyone cheers. One or two people cry, maybe,
right.
and then that's it.
Well, that's nice how everyone who competes gets something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I mean, it's yeah, exactly. So when I say it's Shark Tank, it's like Shark Tank but a little nicer because it's like
heart.
charity, right?
Right.
So yeah, obviously if they get nominated, they get a little something. With the basic rules in terms of charities that are viable candidates for this is the only real rule is it has to be we avoid anything that has any sort of politically controversial services. Think PETA, NRA, Planned Parenthood. Things like that. But basically, it can be a locally serving chapter of a national organization, or it can be a locally based organization that serves elsewhere. So it could be, the Orange County chapter of Big Brothers Big Sisters, which actually who is going to be pitching on Thursday, which is cool. It could be Free Wheelchair Mission, who's based in Orange County, but they serve all over the world.
Right.
Or it could be something like Working Wardrobes, where they're based here and they serve here. So
right, these are all very good names that you've picked.
Yeah, I mean, there's amazing organizations here in Orange County, and that's why it's fun because I get, I have one. There's one coming in that I don't even really know about.
You
Thursday
mean as a presenter?
As a presenter, yeah, because they got nominated, and so I'm just like, so I get to learn, right? Because these are being selected by our members,
right?
And so that someone else has a passion for whatever this organization or cause is, and so I get to learn about these organizations in the process, which is cool because there's so many cool charities here doing amazing work. Right. So I feel pretty fortunate to kind of be a part of it.
Many years ago, which is why I started doing at least one nonprofit on the radio show a month here on Critical Mass Radio Show and podcast, and been doing that for years. Is there was an article in the local paper about several thousand nonprofits that exist in Orange County, and I thought to myself, I can only name 10, and they're probably the big 10, maybe 20 if I really tried. And then I thought, that means there's that much need in the county to have that many nonprofits, because nonprofits aren't starting for no reason. They're starting to solve a problem. I thought, wow, there's really a lot of help that we don't maybe see when people think of Orange County. They don't always think of the need that exists by the citizens of the county. Yeah,
exactly. There's so much. I can't remember the statistics when I think I was told. When I was told the number of homeless kids that go to Newport Harbor High School.
Really?
I was shocked. There's homeless kids that go to Newport Harbor High School.
Wow.
And not like 5 of them. Like there's a significant number of kids, and I just it's like,
yeah, how does that exist?
We are so oblivious to some of these things sometimes.
Right.
And there's need out there, and there's 31 or 3,200 kids in the foster care system in Orange County alone.
Wow.
Like they talk about it like that's a major need. It's a big need. Plug for CASA, Orange County.
Okay.
All right. I'm a big fan of that.
So what's an unintended consequence for you, Tyler? And I'm talking with Tyler Mounce, and we're talking about his organization, or at least the organization he's spearheading, 100 companies who care. Any unintended consequence so far from your work in this area?
Yeah, it's a new thing. So, but I can, it's interesting you bring that up. One thing comes to mind. So really, who we're targeting is small to medium-sized business owners. Because we have like Ingram Micro and Ultrix, like those are some pretty big companies that are based here in Orange County, and they're members of 100 companies.
Okay,
and really that's just to lend credibility to what we're doing, honestly, because they already have corporate foundations. One time we heard pitches from 2 charities at one of the events, and they had already both received grants from Ingram's foundation. So that's not who we're going after. This is designed to be a very approachable way for business owners to step into the corporate philanthropy concept, and just to kind of take their first step in that, because it's not a large financial commitment. It's very efficient and easy. Like you just got to show up, 4 days a year.
Right.
So
is that really the amount of involvement that you
require? Yes. There's more that you can do. There's
like
more
what?
involvement you can have. Like we do some events in between the quarterly pitching ones. But yeah, the only requirement is that you show up, or someone from your organization shows up once a quarter to vote. And nominate. Yeah.
Okay.
So
it
originally, so there's this kind of fun, like I said, Shark Tank feel to it. There's like some random draw. There's all these things that go into it, and originally, I had the idea that that companies would be able to buy as many, like essentially one membership is one vote.
Okay.
And so a company would, if they wanted to double, triple, quadruple the money, like it's just more money for charity. Like, cool, Ingram can buy 4 memberships, 10 memberships. I mean, whatever it is. And then they can vote more times, and then they can have more nominations, and they can really kind of like, basically they can take a bigger stake and have bigger control over the what the group happens.
Okay.
And what I realized in structuring it that way is that I was actually kind of alienating the person that I wanted to be in the room,
Right,
which was the
niche.
small
Right.
business owner, maybe been in business for 15 years, has 7 employees, does a couple $100,000 in revenue a year. Like, that's who we want.
Okay.
And so so we had that concept at first, and what we did is we backpedaled and we said, no, one membership per company.
Okay.
Period.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're Ingram Micro. Doesn't matter if you're
One company, one
Stark.
vote.
Stark is one company, one vote. Because the reality of it is if these companies want to give more money, they don't need to go through 100 companies. They can just write Big Brothers Big Sisters
Right.
or whoever it
Yeah. is
a check.
Yeah.
And so we just did one, and then there's this equality, right? So so the unintended consequence was that I was going to alienate people who I really wanted to get meaning from this and have involvement. And so now, because it's one company, one vote, the small companies have the same voting power. They're actually matching the contribution. Financially, they're contributing the same
Right.
as the large companies.
Right.
And so it's this kind of equality and community of business leaders in Orange County that are all collectively getting together to have an impact. So that was kind of my first little.
I don't need you to name names. You did mention that Stark is a member, but what type of CEOs and business owners have resonated with this business model and said, "Yeah, I want to help you out"? It's
been a pretty mixed bag. Like, obviously, my who I want there most is people who my goal in this isn't necessarily, because again, going back to my original story of like wanting more people to give a little bit.
Right.
My goal isn't to get companies who are already giving to give more. That being said, there are people who are already giving, like very philanthropic business, like Stark does a lot, in community. We've got another company called Das Malchi. They do a lot. And, we've got, I'm trying to think of the name, Sports One Marketing and other companies like that. Like these are philanthropic companies that are already pretty involved in giving back.
Right.
And they're joining because they support the cause and they want to build it. But who we're really targeting is companies that want to step into corporate philanthropy.
Maybe they haven't done anything formally.
And so it's been a pretty mixed bag. Like, there's some people who give a lot. They're like, this is really cool, and I want to do it again. I want to do more of it.
Okay.
And then there's other people who we have a couple members that are like, this giving back is something I've always felt led to do.
Uh-huh.
I've always felt called to that, and I felt like we have something to offer, but I just haven't really known what to do.
Okay.
And they sign up.
Okay.
So it's been a pretty mixed bag, but realistically, I think the people that it resonates with the most are the people who view their business as a vehicle for doing good in our community.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's really the mission statement, is that business is a vehicle.
Okay.
for that.
So you're talking to an audience of CEOs and business owners, probably largely, small, medium-sized, not only here in Orange County, but you talked about an event that's coming up on Thursday. So if you're listening to the stream live,
If you're listening to the stream
maybe
live,
watching us on YouTube, can you share a little bit about that?
it's at 4490 Von Carmen Avenue in Newport.
Okay.
And my email is, honestly, I'll just give everyone my email,
Okay.
Tyler at starklife, StarkLife.us.
Okay.
Tyler at starklife.us.
Is there a website where they can
There
go
is a
to?
website, yeah. Obviously, like, there's not a lot of funds going to this, so it's it's really
It's a
just
startup, ladies and gentlemen.
it's a placeholder at this stage, but
Sure.
it's 100companieswhocare.org.
Okay.
100, the number 10
Uh-huh.
0, companieswhocare.org.
And is this information on your event on that site?
Yeah.
Okay.
It should
I'm
be.
j-
Yeah.
You wouldn't be opposed to some people checking it out for the first time
Yeah,
by
check it out.
letting you know they're coming.
But yeah, the
and-
main thing, honestly, is if they want to get in, if they're serious, if people listening to this are serious, just email me.
Okay.
I'd love to get you involved. It's Thursday, 8 a.m. to 9:30. That's the other thing. It's a morning thing.
Yeah.
So it's just
and it's breakfast.
it's breakfast. Yeah.
So you
the whole
get
deal.
nourished and you do some good work.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool. I mean, that's why I think everyone who has come to attend one of the events has been into it.
Okay.
It's just that when you see it happen and you hear the presentations and you realize, like, wow, like there's these 3 really cool organizations, and I can only vote for one. Like,
Right.
it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is. And then see somebody winning and make a slight difference in their business for a period of time.
Totally. And, especially like I get excited about the small charities, winning large grants,
Right.
For someone who,
Me too.
If their budget for the year could be $250,000.
Right.
And if they get $80,000 for a 5-minute presentation, like that's just cool.
Yeah, my wife and I ran in a short 5K on Saturday for in honor of a student from Ladera Ranch who unfortunately took his life, and the family's created a foundation, and they're trying to create. They're raising funds to create a center because part of the challenge that they found is just lack of activities, even in a place like Ladera. And my wife, after we finished the 5K, it's like, boy, a little bit of money in this kind of an organization could move them a long way towards where they want to get to. So
yeah, totally. And that's the kind of thing that we hope comes out in these presentations, and people are moved to. But it's a shrewd bunch. Like you have to demonstrate that the money's going to go to a meaningful cause and it's going to be impactful.
Right.
They're it's like business owners don't invest wisely. Like you talk about ROI.
Right.
Like it's not like that's a switch that flips off when it comes to philanthropy.
Yeah.
So we've had some interesting winners where basically like some organizations had some really tightly curated data around the actual quantifiable impact the organization was having, and they hit it out of the park. Yeah.
Okay. So lessons to be learned if you're a non.
Yeah,
if you're
exactly.
an ED of a nonprofit.
We give a little bit of advice.
Do coaching.
Yeah, we do that. We've got a little handout that we give people with some guides to pitching and stuff like that. So there's an organization called Smart Start that helped us kind of organize some information to help the nonprofits get organized. So
well, this is great. I'm glad you've come on the show and shared a bit about 100 companies who care. I hope that maybe some people will be able to come on Thursday, but if not, it's a quarterly event.
Yeah, quarterly event. So we're looking at February. I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but it's it's like either the second or third Thursday in February. And just email me, please, if you're serious about it, because obviously I want to grow this and make it into something cool. The sooner we get to 100 companies. The other thing that's cool is like for everyone that joins, if you get 1 or 2 more people, it's like matching grants, right?
Right.
You bring in 2 of your CEO or business owner buddies, and now all of a sudden your 1,000 is 3,000 a quarter.
Right. Yeah. So it sounds like a good group of people, and thank you for doing this. And thanks for being a friend and a part of the critical mass community. I appreciate you coming in today,
my
Tyler.
pleasure.
All right. I'd like to thank our engineer for today as well, Mr. Paul Roberts, and our 3 producers without whom I couldn't do this show, Joan Park, Crystal Nunley, and Haley Stern. If you'd like to connect with me on social media, let's start with LinkedIn. I'm Richard Franzi, Franzi. And until the next show, I hope all of your business decisions will move your company in a positive direction.
You have been